All right, 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM listeners, you already know what time it is. It is 8:30 on the east, 5:30 p.m. on the west, and we have a phenomenal interview for you. We have none other than the legendary, the infamous DJ Trigg on the line. How are you doing this evening?
I'm good, brother. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. Just trying to deal with all this coronavirus stuff, and oh man, you gotta love it, eh?
Yeah.
So I gotta ask you, Trigg, what made you decide to get into the music industry initially?
Well, honestly, man, I've always loved music, you know. So to be honest, what actually happened was I wanted to be an MC, but at the time I didn't have any music producers. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have anybody to make music for me. So what I did was I basically started, DJing, and from DJing I started, trying to make tracks myself, and pretty much that's where it came out to.
And and I hear that story a lot. A lot of people, they don't really get into it. They just make some tracks and voila, they have a career, right? And I have to say, the music industry is a hard thing to actually get into, but I'm really glad that you actually got into that, man, and really blessed us with some phenomenal music.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it, brother.
And you were also signed to the label Creative Source Entertainment. I have to ask you, tell us a bit more about that record deal, and how did that come to be for you?
Well, that's my partner right here, Hudson Simmons. He's the one who created the label, and it was his idea, and we did it together. So, why don't you tell him, brother, how you came up with that? Yeah, well, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing pretty good, man. How are you doing?
Good. Yeah, we had been doing music. Trigg and I had been doing music and co-writing and producing. We produced a lot of stuff, man, mixtapes and stuff like that, and collectively, we started realizing that our creativity was paramount, and our creativity was paramount in how we perceived things to be, as far as like the dynamic of how we wanted things to be. We wanted to be as creative as possible, and when you want to be yourself as an artist or an individual, or whatever it is you're doing in life, that creative I don't know, it's like that creative atom in your mind. Once you split that atom in your mind, it's like a bomb's going off. It's like an atom bomb going off or something. You know what I mean? And so Creative Source is how that name came about, and it's just something that we felt. The source of creativity is how we perceive things to be, as far as on our side, what we like, and what we think things should be. We want to be as creative as possible in everything that we do. So that was 20 years ago.
And it's crazy that actually was so long ago, man, because I remember when the Game of Death record actually dropped, man. That shit was fire. And it's crazy that like the real good hip hop is still solidified within hip hop, and this new age stuff, you hear it once and then it dies off within 3 months. It's good to hear the real hip hop is at least staying alive.
Oh man, that's hip hop is the foundation of everything that's out today. Hip hop is still the foundation. That's what we do, man. I'm saying that the Game of Death was a hell of a project, man. We honestly, we worked really hard on that, man. A lot of people say how great it is, but if you knew what we went through to put it together, you know what I'm saying? I'm talking about the hours of studio time, the songs that didn't make the album. A lot of people hear a record and think that those specific songs just came out. No, there's a whole lot of other songs that were thrown in the batch that you didn't hear because they didn't fit the album. You know what I'm saying? So, it's when you love what you do, and you're really focused and dedicated, you can tell in the music. You know what I'm saying? It's like a lot of stuff that people are doing now, it just doesn't have the love in it. You can tell it's not. They don't love it. You know what I'm saying? Because when you really feel the music and you put your best into it, it's gonna come across. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna last forever. That's why there's artists now that songs that are banging banging better than brand new artists because they took the time and they put the love into the music. It's all about the music, man. The music comes first. If it doesn't, then the songs don't last. They don't mean anything.
And I have to ask you, man, before we pass it back off to Trigg here, I have to ask you both this question. What was it like, putting the Game of Death record together? Like, what, like, you know what I mean? What's the story behind it, man? Because I have to say that is probably one of my favorite albums within hip hop, man. So I got to know, what's the story behind that phenomenal record?
Well, I mean, man, that's deep, man. Well, you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. This is how I work. I literally come up with a concept for the album. And that concept, the name of the album, I conceptualize it. I want it like a movie. It's like a movie, you know what I'm saying? So each song is almost catered to that. It's like I said earlier, some songs will make it and some songs won't. You know what I'm saying? They don't fit the mold of the concept for the album. The Game of Death, the concept of the album, The Game of Death is, I was basically saying everybody is striving to survive, playing the game of life. You feel me? So the Game of Death is just the opposite of that, meaning you're doing everything you can to stay alive. You know what I'm saying? So, and if you notice, in between each song, I had like a skit in there, from different things, to kind of tie the album together. But that's pretty much what it is, man. It's all conceptualization, Yeah, it was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, though, because we were young and we were really ambitious and hungry. We had fire under us because we wanted this to be heard, regardless of if a label major picked us up or not. We were going to make this happen. We went through so many. We went through labels, Virgin. We got. We dropped copies of our album into Ice Cube, Warren G. A lot of people, man. So many people like back in the day that were iconic back in the day, but they were kind of like on their own and on their own comet, just like going through space. We were trying to catch up, but it's like we had to learn to be resilient and keep on pushing. And that was really our motto, to keep on pushing at the time, because we knew that we had something. And and this interview today is just another reminder of, yeah, we did have something. You know what I mean? Because to have an interview in regards to the Game of Death, a couple, this far after we actually dropped the album is a privilege and an honor to actually sit down and discuss it. And actually someone that, like yourself, that appreciated the art, the what we put together. You know what I mean?
And I do have to say, I got some more stuff on the question list.
Talking about that,
I do want to say I got some more stuff on the question list aside from the record. I did my digging on this one, but one last question about Game of Death, because when I didn't even know this one, but when I was doing the research for the interview, I noticed on Discogs that it only says country, USA, and Canada. If you don't mind me asking, what made yourself or the label only put it out in North America?
Well, to be honest with you, we didn't know. It was like, if it ain't where you're from, it's where you're at, And we're in North America, so this is where we started. This is where we started, bro. This is our backyard, So of course we want everybody to know it's in our backyard, even though it's like hip hop was like dropping an album was like bringing sand to the beach, But there's certain times that if it's hot enough, it turns into glass. You know what I mean? So, we figured it was hot enough to drop in North America.
And to be honest with you, people
me up about the game of death in Germany. Yeah, Brazil. Yeah. So, and I don't know how we got over there. Like I said, we're a small independent label, man. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have the finances and backing that majors had. So we just was doing basically the best we could. So I don't know how we got over there, man. And you know, like you said, you did your research on this guy, but like I said, I get hit up from Brazil, from France, from Japan, Germany about the game of death. I mean, people wanting copies of it. You know what I'm saying? So it's some kind of way. He got out farther some kind of way. Yeah, and to see, you know, just to know that, like, a cassette, people buying cassettes, our cassettes for like $150, $200, and that was just crazy to me. I didn't. I'm like, wow, when the game, somebody got a. Let me tell you something. We didn't press up a lot of cassettes. We did basically albums and CDs. Maybe I think a few, maybe a 2 cassette. But we saw a cassette of the game of death on eBay for a couple $100. I'm like, man, who did that? Yeah.
Some people are crazy, man, but you know what? Like, if people really enjoy your music, they will pay that much. When, like, for instance, man, I had a copy of Game of Death for a long time. Long story short, I had a Crazy X that smashed it. I went on eBay and I paid $350 for it. It came from California. I was like, damn, man, $350, but I was like, you know what? It's a slapper. I might as well get it.
You know what, man? Hey, man, I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much, brother. If you pay $300 for the game of that, man, I'm buying you a beer. Hey, don't say no more. I don't think Trigg's head is gonna be able to fit through the door.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I couldn't pay for it right up front. I actually messaged the seller. I'm like, look, I got $150 right now. He's like $350. I'm like, I'm not lowballing you. I'm just saying, take it off the market. Here's my number. When I get the rest of the coin, let me know. So surprisingly, this guy actually did that for me. So that was actually good because I told him I can't just throw $350 for a CD, but you know, if you give me a little bit, I will buy it. I don't think he was getting very many hits on it just because of the price. So when he noticed some guy would do it, he was like, all right, cool. So I got the CD. I still got it, too. You know what I mean? I don't play it very much because it was really hard to find. So I kind of just play it once in a blue moon, and then I just put it back in storage.
That's right. Hey, we got to come out there, and once everything clears up with this pandemic stuff, we got to come out there and do a show for you guys out there.
Hey, man, I don't think Canada will complain, man. We need some good hip hop out here. You know, we don't get very many good hip hop concerts. You know, like we get Snoop Dogg and Ice Cube, but like we don't really have like, you know, the underground legends like yourself making their way out here, unfortunately.
Right. That's right. We got to change that. Yeah. We got to change that. Yeah, and we got such a catalog now that it's just ridiculous. I mean, I can't wait for the world to hear what we have now. Right. You know, ridiculous.
But I have to ask you, Trigg, you were also a member of the group, Horn Crooks. I have to ask you, what's the story behind the formation of that group, and how did you guys all get connected?
Okay, which group are you talking about now?
The Crooks.
Honest Crooks. Okay, here's what happened. If you listen to Welcome to California, I do the first verse. Assassin, my pointer, does the second verse, and Gambino, who will probably be with you guys tomorrow, did the third verse. So what happened was somebody had heard the game of death. An investor heard the game of death and wanted to work with us because of that. So I formed the group, Honest Crooks, which we would get a deal with for the group, Honest Crooks, and I was just going to do the production for it. And it's way out, man. I mean, a lot of things transpired, but, you know, the deal was bad and faulty. It's another independent label, but based on the strength of Welcome to California, I simply formed a group, you know, out of the other two artists that were on the song with me. That's basically what happened.
And also, you guys released a phenomenal record as well, titled "All About That Money." I have to ask you, what was the story behind that album, and what made you guys, like, you know, put that amazing record together?
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I'm not as happy with All About the Money as
the game of death, and I'll tell you why. All About the Money, I was under contract with Bounty Hunter Records, and it just wasn't the same vibe as me and my brother Eric here. You know what I'm saying? Me and my brother Eric are like hand in glove. We kind of know what each other want. But with this other guy, Golden Child, he pretty much had what he wanted to do, and it was regardless. It was different from what I wanted to do. But here's the situation. Most artists like ourselves, we're creative. We got all the talent in the world, but we don't have the money to go with it. So what ends up happening is, once you get with somebody that has the money, your decision making has to change to include whatever they want. And sometimes what that does is it messes the song up. Now the songs, the tracks, I were great. I love the track, but in my opinion, the mixing and mastering wasn't really there. You know, so it's different in the game of death, man. You know what I'm saying? But it was a cool album, but in my opinion, I just wasn't feeling it like I was feeling the game of death.
It's completely understandable, especially with some record labels as well. You know, like they want to, just like you said, they want everything done their way. But then when you're working with someone like your brother and your best friend, you know, you kind of get that leniency, and you guys know exactly what you want. So I completely understand just what you're saying there. You know, some record labels are easy, some record labels are just pathetic to deal with.
Yeah, because you got to understand, the issue is they sign you as an artist, which means they heard what you do and they like it. But once you sign to them, they put themselves into the mix, and that changes the whole demographic of everything. Because you know most artists know what they want and how they feel. But if you start creating and putting things together, and then another third party comes in, wait a minute, we paying for this, and we want you to do that, it can really throw the pot off. You know, yeah, the dynamics.
Throw the dynamics off. Like, yeah. I mean, yeah, the title of the song says it itself. It's all about the money.
Right.
But the game of death was all about the music.
Right. Wow. You say a mouthful.
That's some powerful shit right
truth,
there.
Man. 100% true. As a matter of fact, that title, it was not my title. I didn't like that title. The cover of the album, which was Mean Assassin, I didn't like that cover. I'm letting secrets out there that people won't know unless they hear this radio show. You know what I'm saying? All About the Money, man. I did the music, I did the songs, but to me personally, it's not my album, man. It would not have come out that way.
Did you bring like all this to the record owner's attention, being like, look, man, I don't like the cover, I don't like the name, like let's switch it. You know, like did you ever actually just express it and just be like, look, I want to change this?
You know what? Here's the thing, man. I was caught in between a rock and a hard place, because here is somebody who's going to just take care of the bills to get everything done, but along with that, you have to take their opinion or nothing gets done. You have to. It's like they're going to pay for everything that you can't pay for, and they're going to make sure the record comes out, but the bad part is you ain't going to like everything, and it ain't going to be, you know what I'm saying, you don't have the final say. It's like telling Prince, like, you know, when Prince was first signed to Warner Brothers, they wanted Maurice Starr from Earth, Wind & Fire to produce him. He stood up and said, no, I'm producing myself. And you know what? Thanks to his manager, they let him do it. Now, where would we be right now if Prince hadn't produced his own albums? Because he has the vision. He knows what he's trying to do. So, but the record companies would see people who have like a track record. Well, I'm just going to put this producer. This is a great producer. He's under. Yeah, but here again, you're throwing off the dynamic. You know, the creative part of it. See that album cover, man. Oh God, I hate that cover. I hate the name of the album. And I'm gonna be honest with you, the name. He even messed up the Honest Cook's name. It wasn't even supposed to be spelled that way. So basically, I had to swallow and eat a lot of. And the reason I did that is because when you're an artist, you kind of like say, okay, I gotta get through the door some kind of way. I gotta, you know what I'm saying? So it makes you say, okay, I gotta give to get. I'm gonna have to sacrifice to move forward. You know, and that's the situation that I was in. There's a lot of stuff I didn't like, but I ate it. You know what I'm saying? I ate it because I felt maybe, just maybe, I can get to the next step. You know what I'm saying?
It's a learning experience.
Right, it's a learning experience.
It's growing pains, you know?
Right. But you know, a lot of people don't know that. They hear the record, if
And especially when like a lot of people don't really notice when it comes to you performing the lyrics, because you're at the end of the day you're doing what you love to do, right? So they don't really hear what's going on in the background. They just hear whatever you're putting into the microphone.
Right, exactly.
But I do want to say my apologies. I didn't know like that record actually. You didn't like that record. If I would have known that, I would have left that out of the questions there. So I want to say my
Oh, no, you
apologies
know
for
what?
bringing up some
You know
sour
what?
shit.
When I say I don't like it, what I really mean to say is it doesn't feel 100% my record. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I like the tracks. I did the track. You know what I'm saying? I like the tracks. Put it this way. The owner of the label put himself on certain songs. Didn't ask, just put himself on certain songs. And now imagine being a producer and you're making a song and it's your song and the person that's putting up the money comes to you and says, I'm on this song, I'm on that song, I'm on that song. And you really, in order to put it out, you got to just fly with that. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you know what I'm saying? So when I say I don't like the record, it wasn't a good experience. I learned a lot. I did a lot of things, man. I'm not going to lie. And I'm going to be honest with you. I learned a lot from experience. I can't knock him 100%. But it wasn't the same thing as me and my brother working, because me and my brother have a love for the music. We have an understanding. You know what I'm saying? We have a kinship. With him, it was pretty much all business. And that kind of threw everything off. So when I say I don't like the record, I don't mean I don't like the songs. I like all of the tracks. But in my own personal opinion, I don't like the mix. I think the mix could have been better. The mastering, I didn't like the mastering. And I'm going to be honest with you. The engineer on that record was the engineer for Bone Thugs and Harmony. Me and him got along great. Aaron is great. Aaron is a great engineer. So when we mixed it in Soundcastle, Aaron used to tell me, you know what? Whenever Golden Child comes into the room, the energy goes off. And it did. It's like when he wasn't there, we were working, everything was copacetic coming together. But when he entered the room, the whole vibe changed. Now, what can you do when you got to just rock and roll with it? You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's hard to say. I don't want people to think I don't like the record. I like the track. I like what I was doing, but it didn't come out the way I wanted it to. I didn't like the cover. Our name wasn't spelled the way I wanted it to be spelled, but I was in a situation where, I had to ride or die, man. I had to get to the next. I had to see. It was like I was rolling the dice. I got to take a chance. I got to give up some of my creative control just to see what can happen with it. There were some great songs on there. I wish I could have got it mixed and matched the way I wanted it to. But I can't hate on it, man. It was an experience, and I learned a lot. But I wouldn't do it again.
And also, you were a member of the organization Hustlers Anonymous. I have to ask you, tell us a bit more about that organization, and how did you get connected with the other members?
It still is. I created Hustlers Anonymous. I created Hustlers Anonymous after leaving the All About the Money situation. When I left All About the Money situation, okay, let me just give it up. This for people that are never going to know unless I tell them. When me and Eric were pushing the game of death, we pushed it as far as we could go. Okay? I was working a job, man. The guy who started Bounty Hunter Records came to me and said, you quit your job, I'll pay what you make in the job, and we'll make this record, da-da-da-da. So that's the story of All About the Money, Honest Crooks. That's who Honest Crooks. After so many years, and that didn't come through, and just a bunch of garbage, when I left that situation, I hooked back up with my brother Eric. Okay? We started Honest Crooks. Okay? Not Honest Crooks, it was Hustlers Anonymous. Okay? Because I'm into concepts, So anyway, Hustlers Anonymous, I took Gambino, who was also a member of Honest Crooks. I took Pav, Danny, who's one hell of a DJ, and there was a hype man, Stefan, that came with Gambino, and a couple of other people. But I started the organization as a group, really. It's just a group, man. It was the group HA with Hustlers Anonymous. And we did a great album. I don't know if you heard it, I can shoot you copy, but it didn't come out because of a bunch of other old, a bunch of other stuff. So, but we did shows, man. HA was great, man. HA in my opinion, we could have been the hip hop Beatles, in my opinion, and that was what I was trying to create. Yeah, HA. I'm still using the name HA, but the group is no longer together.
And I'm going to be honest, I've never actually had the opportunity to hear that record. So if you do want to shoot it off to the email with your permission, I'd love to put some tracks in the station's rotation.
You got it, brother. I will shoot you the HA project. The album is called Against All Odds. And just to let you know, I'm working on a project right now, man, that is phenomenal. Okay, I'll start shooting you info on that too, but. Yeah, man, it's a lot of history, man, doing this music. A lot of things artists go through with this music that people will never know unless you talk to them. It's unbelievable.
And I have to ask you, how did you get connected with Gambino?
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I was going to ask you there, Trigg. How did you get connected with Gambino?
Well, me and Gam are from Pomona. You know what I'm saying? I mean, as a matter of fact, I met Gam because one of my big homies, Papa Phil, him and Gam was tight. And during that time, Phil was looking for some tracks for one of his artists. He was kind of trying to work with Gam, At the time, his name was Sonny Gambino. That's when he was Sonny Gambino. And at the time, Papa Phil was me and Papa Phil go back to high school, so he knew I did music, so he hit me up. So, I met him, and I did some tracks with Gam, and he was great. I was like, man, we need to... And see, Gam at the time, I don't know when exactly Gam started hanging with PIEs, Pomona's Insane Empire, another big group in Pomona. Yeah, and there was a big group of them, man. So what I did was I just told Gam, I said, man, look, why don't you work on this album with me? You know what I'm saying? Because there's so many stories, my friend. I can tell you about the Hillside Stranglers, and it's so many stories, man. But anyway, Gam was a great artist. I mean, a phenomenal artist. So I tapped him to be on the Game of Death. But I met him through just mutual friends.
And I have to say, he actually added me on Facebook not too long ago. He's actually a phenomenal individual, man. Like, very easygoing, very cool guy to chop it up with. I have to say, me and him so far have had some pretty cool conversations just about hip-hop, and, it's pretty cool to actually grow a friendship with such a talented individual.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Gam is like my brother, man.
But I have to ask you there, Trigg.
Didn't hear it all.
Oh, sorry about that, Eric. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, Gam's been through it all with us. He's been, he's a pillar. Yeah. He's a pillar in our foundation. You know what I mean?
But I have to ask you both, and Eric, since you're part of this interview as well, man, if you can start this off, man, I have to ask you, what is next for you, Eric? Like, is there any, since we have you here live on the air worldwide, in front of a live audience, I have to ask you, is there any projects you're working on that you actually want to promote to our live audience so we still have you here?
Oh, yeah. The infamous DJ Trigg and I are working on a project called Mission is Possible. Not Mission Impossible, but Mission is Possible. And, we used to call ourselves the Dream Team, but really we're the Scheme Team. You know what I'm saying? And we got a nice little scheme for the world to hear. To get involved with, and sky's the limit for us. Ain't nothing stopping us this time around. So I look forward. I look forward to sharing this with the world. Scheme Team music is gonna take you to new levels.
And Gam did a lot of songs on Hustlers Anonymous too. So the stuff that I'll shoot over to you, give me like maybe a few days, man, and I'll hit you up and I'll email you the album, the Against All Odds album.
Hey, sounds good. If you send it, I'll spin it, Trigg.
Cool, man. I appreciate that, brother.
But I have to ask you, Trigg, is there anything else that you're working on solo? Anything you want to promote? We still have you here live on the radio.
Yeah, man. Like I said, MI is going to be as great, or not, if not greater than the game of death. MI is I'm putting my foot in MI. Mission is possible, baby. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna do 3 of them: MI1, MI2, and MI3. So that's what I'm working on right now.
And so, guys, this is the time in the interview that I give a chance for the individuals that come on the radio station, just a chance to give shoutouts to whomever they want to give shoutouts to. And also, if you can, drop both of your social media handles. That way our listeners can follow you and stay updated on all your newest projects.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to you, man. I appreciate this, man. And I look forward to doing a lot of business with you, brother. Like I was telling you on the other Facebook conversation. But yeah, of course I got to give it up to Gam. Of course, you guys will probably talking with him tomorrow. Assassin. Oh yeah, I got to give it up to everybody from HA. You know what I'm saying? AD Slam. Yeah, we're going to game to death. Anybody that appreciates the music is what I'm giving it up to. Jim, my engineer, Jimmy Robinson. So there's quite a few people for me to remember, man. But basically anybody that supports what I do, I really appreciate it. And I guess the social media handle is I'm on Facebook. Just type in DJ Trigg on Facebook. You see my face. Anything else you want to say?
Again, I'm Hustle Simmons. From HA Hustlers Anonymous. Chairman of the board. You'll be hearing from us, man. But as far as that goes, Eric Smith, CEO, and AKA Hustle Simmons. You can find me on Facebook. It's Hustle Simmons with a Z. So if you look up, what is that, Instagram? You'll find me on Instagram there, here and there. But yeah, we're definitely going to be making a lot of noise this time around, and the project's just about finished, so it's going to be happening soon, man. So we're going to make sure that you're one of the first to be able to premiere it. I'd love to. It'd be nice to have a nice world premiere with you. You know what I mean? On one of our singles. We got some of our singles are pretty much ready, so we just got to finish mastering, I think, and then we'll be ready to rock and roll. And we'd love for you to be able to spin something new, just to kind of tie in what we've done for all these years, and these years in the past. A culmination of all of that coming to a head and actually having it, fine-tune and refine the way we do things in today's age, hopefully for our fans, our shout-outs go to all our fans, definitely to you, the Most High, we got, family, all the people that supported us over the years, my girl Butter Pecan, all these, my kids, my daughters. Yeah, I just, life is good, So we just want to keep on pushing, and this is a reminder of why we do the things that we do.
And I gotta say to both of you guys, thank you so much again for taking the time out of your evening and coming on 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM. You know what I mean? I gotta say, like I said, Trigg, I've been a huge fan of yours for a long time, so just thank you again. Hustle, thanks for making a surprise appearance as well, You can't go wrong with the producer. After all, what's an artist without a producer, right? Thank you guys so much again for coming on, and most definitely, hopefully down the road, we can make this happen again.
Oh, most definitely, man. Most definitely. We appreciate you, brother.
We'll be talking to you.
Most definitely. Sounds good, guys. Have yourselves a wonderful night, and most definitely stay safe out there in California.
All right. Shout out to Canada. You too. Shout out to Canada.